Hello Internet, Lanks here with another replay for you. I've got another Canadian player on the game this time. This time we've got Drewbie. He is playing incognito on his ladder account, hence the name. But this replay is from the Root Gaming website, so it is indeed Drewbie, unless they're lying to us. In the bottom right, we've got Engine, who's just a regular ladder player. There's no real info available on him, so he's just a Masters level player, I assume. So Drewbie over here on the top left, and the blue. Drewbie's got a pretty aggressive playstyle for a Terran. He's known for doing Drewbie drops. He's known for basically harassing people all the time, whenever possible, with medevac drops. And that was in Wings of Liberty. So in Heart of the Swarm, I haven't seen him actually play yet, so I don't really know how he's going to change up his gameplay. He may be going for Widowmine harassment, as that's a very popular trend right now. He may decide to use the new Reaper abilities, since that's one of my personal favorites, since they're just so useful at this point. And they're so durable with the regeneration. So with this SCV heading to the middle of the map, yep, that's a barracks. So it looks like he is going for an early game harassment, likely going to be Reapers. Doing proxy marine isn't really useful anymore, particularly once you since there are things like the mothership core that will simply shut that down. So another SCV going out to scout here. It looks like he's going to hit the wrong location first, but he will be heading down to the right location thereafter. Gateway down now. It doesn't look like Engine's got any kind of gas going on yet. Oh, now he's getting his gas. Okay, so he won't be too far behind there. He could have gotten slightly earlier, so he'd have a stalker out a bit earlier. With this kind of timing, double gas in fact. With this kind of timing, he's going to be a little behind on the Reaper, so there will probably be a good 30-second to a minute period where Drewbie will be able to have free reign with his Reaper. So it looks like Drewbie's got his own gas naturally. He's got the 50-50 required now for the Reaper. He's only got 6 workers on minerals, which is pretty telling. He would be unable to push back any kind of pressure, and he won't be able to expand for quite a while. He's kind of... it's almost an all-in with this, since his production is so limited right now. So one SCV heading into the right location. We'll see if he just skates around, or if he's going to try some sort of harassment, just poke at the probes or what have you. Engine continuing to just pump out the probes. He's not concerned about early game harassment, obviously. Cybernetics core about halfway done, but that Reaper is just about to be finished, so at best it's going to be a stalker being produced right about when the Reaper arrives. So it looks like Drewbie just... oh, putting down a bunker. That's aggressive play. Oh, now he's trying to... if he can get this bunker up, then there's no way he's going to be able to defeat this Reaper harassment. This game will be very short indeed. But it looks like that's not going to work out. Reaper has arrived, though, and the stalker's only halfway done, so he's going to be able to have... he can do whatever he wants. Until that stalker's out, he's going to be able to pick off as many probes as physically possible. Not shooting the Nexus isn't going to help him too much. We've got a Mothership Core coming out, and that does actually build relatively quickly. Mothership Core only 5 seconds longer than a Marine. So they're pretty easy to get out in response to this kind of harassment. Stalker's out, chasing down that Reaper, but the Reaper's faster. And, ooh. That was a close one. He almost lost it there. But there's a second Reaper on the field here. But with the Mothership Core out, it's not going to work out too well. And he's going to have to run. But Drewbie's keeping up the Reaper production, interestingly enough. So he's obviously committed to this. Got another one queued up, so he'll have 4 soon enough. And he's got 2 more barracks coming down, so he may be prepping some kind of bio push behind. He's clearly not expanding. So it looks like he's just going to continue to mass Reapers, which is an interesting tactic versus a Protoss who clearly knows that you're doing it. He's already got 2 Stalkers out and the Mothership Core, so he can shut down pretty much anything short of a Reaper mass. And he's got a Stargate coming out, so Reapers obviously can't shoot up. So that'll be a real problem for them. If they get lifted by Phoenixes, then they're as good as dead. So going down and check that expansion location, but nothing there at the moment. So 3 Reapers can 2-shot probes. We'll see if he gets a chance to do that. There's 1. There's 2. He's on the run now. The Stalkers have a beat on him. Oh, one's almost down. Another hit, he'd be toast. But it looks like they're running out. And Warp Gate research is just about to finish, so the Stalkers should be a lot more common in the near future. Mothership Core taking a nice big detour on the side. I'm going to be doing some harassment likely. He probably knows that since Drewbie's so committed to this, he's not going to have much in the way of a Marine force. So there would be really no way to drive off this Mothership Core without a turret. We do have an engineering bay coming down, though. 2 more Reapers. Wow. Drewbie is really racking up the Reapers here. He's committed to this fully, obviously. He's not going to be trying to back down anytime soon. So there's just a 5 here, and there's 2 more coming, so that's 7. That's kind of an incredible kind of play. You don't see this very often. So 7 Reapers versus 4 Stalkers, a Mother Score, oh, and an Oracle. Now, did Drewbie see that Stargate before? He did, so he knows there's some kind of harassment coming in. So he's got those turrets up, very wise. Mother Score just barely survives. The Oracle moving in now. But with the turrets up, it's not going to be able to do much. Takes out one SCV and decides to beat it. So we've got more Reapers down the side. We've got 9 Reapers at this point. This is becoming a truly frightening force. 9 Reapers could easily win against 4 Stalkers if they're microed properly. And here they go. Another few probes down. And 1 Reaper down. 1 Stalker down. And looks like he's going to run away. Just do the regeneration and hope for the best. Engine's getting down his expansion here. Drewbie still doesn't have an expansion. He's going full on into bioproduction here. A relatively risky play. More turrets he's putting up. He's really worried about that. Oh wow, yeah, you can see why he's worried about the Oracle harassment. There's 3 of them on the field. Still only 9 Reapers. It looks like he's ceased Reaper production at the moment. There we are. So 4 more Reapers coming out now. So well, I'm going up to 13. That's a pretty frighteningly large amount of Reapers. So in terms of units killed here, it looks like we've got far more for Drewbie. He's killed 8 workers to only 2 that Engine's managed to pick off with these Oracles. But the question remains what Drewbie is going to do after this. He's got no expansion. He's got no real tech. He's honestly very vulnerable. If Engine were to simply make some sort of ground force, he could just walk in. Insisting on only making Oracles is really going to cost him, because they can't do much against turrets. We're up to 14 Reapers now, and here comes the army. Versus only 4 Stalkers. This is not going to end well. Oh, there's Drewbie not focusing his fire very well. There we go. So now there's no ground forces left. Oh, a very good use of the overcharge there in the Nexus. Drives off the Reapers. That thing's got a range of 20, so it can really reach out and tap things. Oracles get in. Oh, picking up a whole bunch of them. So we've got more Reapers still. Drewbie's really just sticking with this. Maybe he's just trying to do a bit of a gimmick build. Although he's getting an expansion in the top right and in the top left. A very odd choice considering the Oracle presence on the map right now. They can go pretty much wherever they please. If they find these expansions, then they're going to have an easy time just picking off the SCVs. So Drewbie up to 12 Reapers now. And he's making 4 more. Oh no, now he's on to Marines. So he's actually starting up standard Marine production now. So it looks like he's going to start going for a regular army. Bit of an SCV transfer here, going over to the top right. Orbital Command, which is an interesting choice. If a ground army comes in here, these guys are doomed, although Drewbie perhaps figures that since he's got so many Reapers, he's got complete map control. So head back to production here to see what they're up to. So we've got an Observer coming out for Engine, and a Robotics Bay, so it looks like he's switching into a Robo build. So he'll likely be going for Colossi. Not too much else going on, just macro at the moment. Drewbie with these hidden expansions could get a big advantage in the long run if they aren't found. And these Marines are probably not going to do so hot against the Phoenixes once they lift them. Yep. Poor guys. All they wanted to do was look around. So, looks like we're setting up standard army production now. He's got just 4 Raxes with a variety of add-ons, so nothing too unusual there. Getting the +1 for the Marine Marauder Ball. And on the bottom, it looks like, yeah, Engine's taking a defensive stance, getting a cannon up, getting his Colossi, getting the Colossi range. So once he's got this, this seems like a pretty bad bad way for things to go for Drewbie. If he gets a Colossus ball up and he's just got a Bio Ball, then he's going to lose flat out. The Observer, he's being very careful with the Observer because he just knows how turret happy Drewbie has been today. Drewbie spotted him anyway. Nope. And in come the Air Forces. Though they can't really do much. They have to skirt around those turrets. Oracles and Phoenixes are both pretty darn fragile, so they can't really do much there. Got a couple more barracks. Doesn't even have a factory out yet, which is very unusual. These expansions, however, are completely unknown. Yeah, it looks like Engine hasn't spotted them at all. So this observer will keep an eye on Drewbie's expansion. He, you know, if I was Engine and I saw a completely empty expansion here, I would start to wonder what was going on. And it looks like he's doing just that. Uh-oh. This is not going to end well. Although there is a turret, but it's only one, so he could just tank it and kill it. But it looks like he's going to run for it. Ooh. Almost losing that Oracle. Spots the other one as well, so he knows something's up. But all he's got to do is send a couple stalkers over, or one stalker to each one, and that'll halt the mining entirely. So back at home, it looks like the Marauders have they don't have Conch Shell, although they do have Stim. So this ball could be pretty effective in a one-off engagement. They do really need to get the Medivacs out if he's going to be able to use Stim liberally. He's getting a Ghost Academy, which is an interesting choice. You don't see that too often these days. Stalker number 1 has arrived down here, so that's going to shut down mining, and Stalker number 2 is just arriving now. Looks like Drewbie's going to split up his forces to respond to this, although he's sending most of it up north for some reason. Back at home, just continuing to make up the bio army. He's got quite a number of barracks at this point. Factory's just about done. Ghost Academy is done. Finally getting his command center in his base for his natural. Looks like they're driving off. SCV's getting some revenge there. And the bio ball has moved down below. Ooh, good catch by Drewbie there. Picking off the air army that was coming in to reinforce. He needs to have a lot of Marines though, because the Oracles will pick off Marines on their own very quickly. So Drewbie's little minor bio ball here is going to have a really hard time with things if they walk into these Colossi. So he's got to be very careful down there. Back at home, he's got a little more bio coming up. Does he have a... Yeah, there's a starport, finally. He really needs those Medivacs. If he's going to do his famed drops, he's got something to drop them in. But it looks like, I mean, Engine at this point, if he was to just walk over, he could possibly even just take him on. The Marauders would give him a run for his money. He needs more meat in his army. He's got enough Colossi. He's got 4 Colossi at this point. That's a lot for this point of the game. Although it's worth saying that we're at 17 minutes of the game and Drewbie is just now building up a bio ball. So this has been a very unusual game, to say the least. So they're gonna, looks like they're gonna meet in the middle here. Not gonna go well for Drewbie. Ooh. Although if he gets a stim in, those Colossi caught in their own, not so tough. One more Colossi that'll be able to pick off through the Marines. Quite a bizarre game. Oracle's coming in for a bit of cleanup. Get some of the Marines down, so it looks like they cleaned up the bio ball. But Engine lost a pretty large chunk of its army. He's actually behind in supply now. That should have gone a lot better for him. He should have had his army together rather than split apart. The cliff obviously was the culprit there, as the Oracles, or the Colossi were walking out on their own, since they can, whereas the rest of the army was taking a detour down below. Paramarauders here fending off this Colossi. So Drewbie's finally got his starport up, and he has the reactor, though he's not using it yet, which is a bit strange. Oh, interesting. Looks like Engine's going for Tempest, something I haven't seen much of on the ladder myself. A pretty rare unit, almost as rare as carriers. Otherwise, it's a bit of a mishmash. Everybody's everywhere here. We've got a single Void Ray up here taking out this base. The SCV's seemingly oblivious to the problem they're facing. This base is running away. Single Stalker picking up as it flies away. And it looks like Drewbie's going to try to take advantage of the split forces here and go for the kill. Or not. Guess he's a little worried about that Oracle. So, Stalkers are trying to base. They've successfully driven away this expansion. Looks like it's going to sit down here. So Drewbie's main is almost mined out. He's got his natural now saturated. And this base is still alive. 4 Marines responded to the Void Ray problem. Another Tempest coming out. No upgrades on these Tempests, so they're not going to be terribly effective as the game wears on. Whereas Drewbie has got his bio upgrades coming along quite nicely. I'm surprised he hasn't taken out this observer. He knows it's there. He's seen it. Bio army all coming together here. Maybe he's going to be doing some drops. He's got a couple medevacs now at least. A couple of Vikings out. Looks like he wants to deal with the Colossi threat. Now this is one problem with getting Tempests or carriers for that matter. when you're using Colossi is that suddenly all the really big hitters in your army are air units, and they're armored, and so Vikings deal very well with them. So he's going to have a problem if Drewbie catches on to this and just keeps producing Vikings, and he's got 2 reactor starports, so he'll be able to do just that. I'd just like to point out the nice new epic music that they've got in the Heart of the Swarm as well. Much better than the Wings of Liberty, in my opinion. That got a little stale after a couple of games. So only 2 Vikings here. Hopefully we're going to see a few more. Only 2 medevacs as well. It's a bit strange how he's skewing his build at this point. There we go. A lot more Vikings coming in now. Shouldn't have any trouble at all dealing with the mix of units here. It's going to clean up the Colossi and the Tempest in a snap. And the rest will fall pretty darn quickly to stim Marine Marauder. So Engine taking his 3rd. A little late, considering, at the 22 mark. Drewbie's actually got this one mined pretty far down. It's going to be mined out fairly shortly. Looks like he didn't actually take this base in the end. Just took the top. So he's taking the top side of the map as opposed to the left side. Which, frankly, given how the map has turned out, that's probably a wise idea. It's worth knowing that Engine also has a very immobile army. Colossi and Tempest aren't exactly known for their speed, whereas Marine Marauder Medevac can get around the entire map really quickly. So he's got full map control, Drewbie, whereas Engine's on the back foot here. And a whole bunch of scans going down. Looks like he's looking for that army and not seeing it anywhere. So he's probably a little worried at this point. Might be getting flanked, or maybe he thinks this is the best time to move in and do an attack. So we've got a lot of Colossi down at this point. We've got let's see here, 5 Tempest, 7 Colossi, 6 Stalker. Oh, Warp Prism, where's that? Oh, sneaky. But he's not using it right now, which is a bit strange. Versus a pretty decently sized Bioball. The 4 Ghosts are going to make a big difference. If they can knock out the shields, that's going to hurt this army quite a bit. It's a considerable chunk of their health. Oh, looks like they found the Warp Prism. Some results got warped in, but didn't really do much. SCVs are on the retreat. Hopefully they're going to change their mind momentarily. So more Vikings en route, my lord. So he has 18 Vikings. He's got more Vikings than there are Colossi and Tempest put together. And he has not inconsequential number of Tempest too. So I think the time is right now for Drewbie to go make something happen. Engine is on 3 bases, really just on 2, and he's going to be on 1 pretty shortly because this is getting mined out in short order. He's got to expand, he knows it. Sending out another War Prism to do some harass. Drewbie is leading with the Vikings. He's got a phalanx of Vikings here, 18 of them. He can one-shot several of these at once. Was that a mothership? That was something strange sounding. Oh, Mother Core with the Nexus overcharge. So here we go. Able to pick things off pretty quickly. This is a bit of a pitch firefight. Got the force fields in the middle, try to keep them back, but not far enough. The Vikings just fly right over top of it. And the Vikings just keep picking everything off. This is not going to go well for Engine. That Nexus overcharge is the only real source of constant damage versus the ground here. Nexus with 6 kills. That's something you didn't see in Wings of Liberty. So Drewbie forced to retreat, surprisingly, although Engine definitely on the losing side of that engagement. He's way behind on supply now. And Drewbie, in the meantime, has taken yet another base. So he's going to be on 4 mining bases to Engine's 2. That's not good. Oh, and another one, in fact. So he's on 5 mining bases. Definitely not good. Putting up more production, very wise, or more CCs. Ooh. 3 more CCs moving out. And he's not producing any units right now. A bit of a lapse in his macro. That's a bit of a mistake. And it looks like Engine's moving towards Sonic Storm, so he'll have a counter, another counter for the big ball of units he's been facing. Sticking with the Colossi, which honestly isn't a terrible choice, but he needs more meat on the ground to support it. On their own, they're just too vulnerable, as we saw in that first engagement. So more Vikings. He's gotten his Viking count back up. 6 at a time he's building. Where's that other starport? Lord. Alright, so he's got plenty of Vikings coming out. Oh, there they are. 2 more starports at the bottom. More command centers. More barracks. More everything here. So it looks like Drewbie's got a decently sized Bioball again. 27 Marines, 8 Marauders, a couple Ghosts, and a few Medevacs, but 22 Vikings. He has wisely noticed that pretty much everything of importance in Engine's army can be picked off from the air. So with that many Vikings, he'll pretty much just kill all these in a single volley apiece. We'll see. I don't think it's a particularly smart move for anything to be moving out, but he needs to make something happen. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to expand safely. Drewbie will simply harass him to death, keep him contained. He's got 2 command centers. 1 command center just wasn't enough at this expansion point. So it looks like Drewbie's heading down south here. He's getting his bio army together. He's up to 3-3 note, and engine's up to... What's engine at here? 2-1. Not that great, and nothing on the air army. Good storms. Forced him off. But he doesn't have much to keep it up with. A couple more storms. He's weakening this army, but just isn't taking them out. The Tempest don't have the firepower to shoot them down enough. There goes another one. And Colossi down, the last Tempest down. Only 1 Colossi left, and these Vikings may as well land. Time Warp didn't really do much. It doesn't affect air units, which maybe is what he was hoping. The Vikings hitting the ground, running. And gonna have to take off again. Oh, that storm's gonna hurt. Now he's lost most of his Vikings, but he's still got enough to take out these Colossi, and they are going kamikaze on them. He knows that once the Colossi are down, he can just move in with the bio and clean it up. And there they go. The 3-3 making short work of the Zealots. Warping in some Archons, not going to be enough. I think that's probably going to be that's game right there. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Bit of an interesting game with the mass Reapers. Who knew that 14 Reapers was something that the pros did? But it looks like they do, and it worked out pretty well. And then the mass expansions with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 extra command centers. So that's an interesting tactic. I'll have to keep that one in mind. Oh, no, 10, 11 extra command centers. So Drewbie going a little command center crazy. Anyhow, hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I'll have another one for you in a couple of days. I'll see you guys next time.